President, and just rising tonight to speak about a meeting I went to last night at the City of Rockingham, a special electors meeting. I was contacted by community members, one in specific to start with, a gentleman, and his main issue was the red bins being picked up every 2 weeks. But there was other issues. There was he had 5 things he put forward to the Rockingham Council at the electors meeting, and all 5 passed very easily. There was a lot of people there. So, like in reality, most people, I think, know, well, a lot of people need their red bins picked up weekly and that. I mean, it's okay for some people. They can do without and they get used to all the FOGO stuff and only having a 2 weekly pickup. But I had so many people that started contacting me through this gentleman in regards to this issue of the red bins, and they were talking about hygiene, you know, the pests, the rats, the mice, the nappies, all the issues that they have experienced now because of having a couple of weeks of having stuff sitting in their bin. And then you've got people like the FIFO workers that, you know, they'll miss their red bin and they're away. So they have a real problem with things like that. Now, a lot of people turned up last night. There was over 300. The venue could only fit just over 300, 350 in it, and it was full, chock-a-block, and that's all they could fit in there. And then there was another 100, 150 outside lined up and standing out in the cold. They were even standing outside the windows and spent the night out there listening through the windows, watching through the windows. So I think that shows how important it was to these people when you're having 500 odd people turn up. Now, the council claimed that it had cost $10,000 to live stream that event for the special electors meeting. I don't know. There's a lot of people just amazed by that price, but that's what they've said. And the ratepayers, the electors, weren't very happy that it wasn't going to be live streamed because a lot of people were saying they couldn't get there. They have disabilities. There's all sorts of reasons. Had people to care for at home, children. So yeah, they were pretty upset about that, and I had many people contact me. So prior to the meeting, there's an ability for you to contact the presiding officer and say, you know, can you live stream? Can you get permission to film it, live stream it? So I did that. I formally sent an email to the City of Rockingham and requested to live stream the meeting. They rejected my request, and it, for who knows why, apart from it basically said, which I think it was something like to do with, it could be cause disruptions or, make it unlawful. And I was like, I looked into it, there was nothing, it just made no sense. So when I got there, I attended the event. I went over and seen the mayor and I asked him, what is it specifically? Why was I rejected? Why can I not live stream something if it wasn't, it's just a meeting? And they were happy to live stream it, they said, but it was $10,000. So they didn't want to do it because it was too expensive for the council. So then why couldn't I live stream it from a phone, considering there was 150 people outside and a lot of people at home that wanted to be at that meeting? It actually would have been a great thing for people to be able to listen. Not only did only the 300 in there get to vote, which you didn't need the others anyway, because pretty much there was 9 people voted against and 300 for. So it was predominantly people in favour. But anyway, the thing that was given to me in the email was Standing Orders Local Law 2001, stating that the recordings or live streaming of special electors meetings is not permitted. And like I said, you're able to ask in advance to get permission for that, which I didn't. It's just a crazy thing that what is it that they're trying to hide? Why would that's the problem with local government, state government, federal government. It doesn't matter. They should be fully transparent. These people are electors, they're ratepayers, and they should be able to see what's going on. They shouldn't be shut down from having someone. It would have saved them people outside, having to be there in the cold. They could have gone home, could have ended just by having that live stream. But it didn't stop there. When I arrived, I accepted that I couldn't live stream, I couldn't take any video, and I thought, I'll do the right thing. The staff were there and I said, can I just take some pictures? I just want to clear that first. And they said no. I was like, why not? It doesn't, there's no rules to say, it says you can't video and you can't live stream and you can't record audio. That was the rules. That was in their rules at their council meeting. They were the rules that were laid out. And then I asked the lady, can you just go check? And so she went and checked and come back and they said, no, they said you can't, it's under that act. And I said, well, here it is here. I've got it here. Can you just show them this and tell them this is what your rules are? And anyway, so then they said no, and I went, all right. So I didn't take any. I abided by the rules. That was their ruling. So anyway, at the end, it got worse. I had the city's governance manager there, and then he started accusing me of harassing his staff because of asking, can I take pictures, and saying, well, it doesn't actually state that you can't take pictures. It's still photography. It just says you can't record the event and you can't record audio and you can't live stream. So what is their problem with pictures? And anyway, he was making accusations that that's abuse, that I was harassing them by asking them questions. So I walked to the staff, he was just next to her, and I said, did I harass you in any way? And she said, no, you just asked them questions. And I said, thank you. And then he goes, oh, well, I don't care, I think you harassed her. And I went, all right, whatever. So I said, I'm going to bring this up in Parliament about, transparency, about this Rockingham Council that, not only did you stop me live streaming, now you didn't want me to take pictures, and now you're claiming I'm harassing something your staff just told you I wasn't. So this gentleman, and I'm going to name him because this goes on to him saying, his name was Jim Olnick, and he basically then said to me, when I said to him, oh, that's all right, I'm going to take it to Parliament, I'm going to just sort of tell them about how, local government, our councils, this is wrong, that transparency should be, a big thing. People that are electors and that have elected the council members in and that should have a right to see and hear what's going on. And he goes, you better not do that, that's abuse of parliamentary privilege. You can't do that. And I was like, I can do whatever I want, mate. I'm allowed to talk in Parliament about whatever I like. And he started then basically raising his voice and attacking me on that I was going to speak about the Rockingham Council and how that transparency should be, promoted, not to the point that I can't even take a picture in there. I don't understand that, a big deal of taking a picture at a council meeting anyway. So, I mean, it's just ludicrous that, you have councils that are seen, and it's not just one council, there's many of them, and we've seen now that, you've got the, Minister Hannah Beasley and that appointing people, and there's all sorts of problems going on in local government, and we wonder why, people have issues with any level of government when, transparency and accountability is being, hidden away like that you can't even take a photo or live stream or do something like that. So anyway, we need to address, local government laws and stuff and start to look at that and try to change some of them things. And what really shocked me today was something that someone sent to me that the Premier said, and I believe it must have been in the media, and this is the quote they gave me, was that the Premier said today that the City of Rockingham was a strong council that was being undermined by its community, and about them bringing forward, their issue with the red bins, that that terrible community had thought that it was a problem with the red bins, so they're going to bring it to a special electors meeting. And his thing was to saying that the council's being undermined by its community. They're there to represent their community. So anyway, I wanted to bring that to Parliament today to say that I think we need to spend more time on trying to actually bring back and look at the laws that the local governments have, being able to shut down a member of Parliament from filming for constituents that ask me would I be able to live stream it for them, because that's a request they had made. Thank you.